everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love, something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love, something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 Something about your love, something about your love.
Good morning. This is Pastor Tom Donnelly with Firmly Rooted Ministries, and today's devotion is for August 8th. And we're at the end of Jesus' encounter with this man who was filled with demons, and Jesus has released him. The title for today's devotion is Tell How Much God Has Done for You. And so here's the text. The man from whom the demons had gone out begged to go with Jesus, but Jesus sent him away, saying, Return home and tell how much God has done for you. So the man went away and told all over town how much Jesus had done for him. And so I find this text interesting because here's a guy that because he was demon possessed, he used to be pushed out by the people of the town, and he would be chained up out there in the wild. They would try to tie him to tombstones in the cemetery. He would break the chains. He was just a mess. It was just crazy. These demons were controlling his whole life. But when Jesus entered into the scene, the demons had to cower. The demons had to cower because the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords was in that space. And we talked about that yesterday. Now we have this man who's completely in his right mind. He's restored, and now he wants to follow Jesus. And who can blame him? I mean, for goodness sake, Jesus asked a lot of people to come follow me. But this is one instance where I see in the gospel that Jesus says to him, no, you can't follow me. I need you to go back into the town. Because you got to remember, this town sent Jesus away. After he performed this exorcism and caused those demons to go into the pigs, and the pigs went into the river and they died, the town was upset with Jesus. He never had a chance to preach the gospel to them, so he had to leave. So he sends this once demon-possessed man back into the city, and he begins to tell them all that Jesus had done. And sometime later in the book of Acts, we're going to find that a church was developed in this area because of this man. But here's my point. Jesus has called each of us to this very activity. Each and every one of us has had something significant happen to our lives because of what Jesus has done. And God is calling us to go tell people what He has done for us. That we're called to be witnesses. We're called to tell people what we've seen and heard and experienced from this Jesus who has redeemed and saved us and made us His children and restored us into a relationship with Him. Here's our mission. Go tell all that He has done for you. That seems like a simple mission. Let's prayerfully get out and do it. I encourage you to read the devotion attached. I pray that this devotion is a blessing to you. Have a firmly rooted day.